Welcome everyone to the Closet webinar. So we'll discover the Cabvision Closet module. So this is an add-on that's available for all Cabvision core licenses. So this is specifically for designing and manufacturing closets using Cabvision. So it will include all the tools needed to present and also to manufacture the closet. So this will include some catalogs, some hardware, some construction, and also some accessories as well. And also it will include a set of additional UCSs just to customize and create custom operation as well. So we'll go over all this. First, I will just show you what the package is made of, like the different item you'll find in the package. And after that, we'll do a live demonstration. We'll create a project from start to finish of a closet project. So first thing in the closet package is what type of closet can you do with this add-on? So that will be really like the typical closet that you will install in a residential or sometimes commercial project. It's made basically mostly of parts or assembled on site using connectors. So you will have, for example, cam locks or Rayfix connectors that will get, for example, the panels connected with the tops, the fixed shelf, and the bottom. And if you need to include, for example, closet rods, wire basket, drawer guides, this is all done using a 32 mil system on the panels. The 32 mil system is an essential thing in the closet industry. It's the fact that you make it very modular, so you can readjust or modify the whole configuration of a closet directly on site. So it's easier for the client and user to be able to move their rod up or down or readjust the shelf or the fixed shelf if they, for example, decide to reconfigure it. So we don't have to basically start over and buy a new closet. We just unscrew and move things around and reassemble it. So what you see on the screen is an example from one of our Cabvision users. This one is a company in BC. They have the closet module, and this is something that they made entirely using Cabvision. All the operations, all the design is done in Cabvision, and this is done following a 32 mil system. So it's maybe a little bit hard to see, but where you have the closet rod, there's actually a line boring going from top to bottom, and they just have the closet rod support to be able to install in one of those holes. Same for the drawer guides. It's basically snapping on one of the existing holes in the closet as well. Another thing, if we just go to the next one, you can have different type of panels. So you can have like suspended panel. This one is one with a suspended panel, so the panel doesn't touch the floor. You will find also what we call a tall panel mounted to floor. So those will run all the way to the floor, and typically will even include a small toe kick as well. And also you have much shorter panels. The one at the very left is those where you just want to, for example, have a closet rod or maybe a shelf and leave the rest open. So this is all option you will find in the closet module. Whereas they are suspended or not, they will mainly be installed using hanging rail. So on the wall, you have a rail where you will have hanging rail hardware to connect the panel to the rail. So this rail will vary depending where you buy it. Sometimes it's maybe 2-3 inches, sometimes it's more, but the package will allow you to customize the size of the notch you need for the panels, and also the type of operation you need to install the connector to get the panel hanging on the rail. So this is also part of the module as well. Another thing, when we talk about connectors, so connectors will be what you use to connect tops and panels or fixed shelf and panels. So in this case, if I just highlight one of them, it's one of those connector we see on the end of the top parts. So typically we will use connectors. Some people call them Rayfix, some people call them cam locks. There's different type, but they most likely have two different type. One that's just a single hole that's about 20 millimeter diameter. That will be actually into a screw, a pin that is on the panel, and some as an additional support. So it's one with two holes, like one is 20 mil and the other one is 8 mil, an extra kind of like a support hole if you have to hold more weight, for example. And you have both options available in the closet module as well. So that's what we will create using this add-on. So next thing we will see now what you get when you have the closet module in Cabvision. So the very first thing is in the assembly manager. So you'll be able to now create and customize closet construction. So it's a very different construction than the kitchen and bath, where you will have additional case parts. For example, you have a hanging section, you'll have a shoe shelf section. You also will use different connectors. So that's why we created a different style of assembly that you can customize. So you will already get a few sample closet construction with the package, but you will be able to copy or customize them as you need. So what I'll do, I'll switch to my Cabvision just to show you what I currently have in my Cabvision. I just imported the closet module and just made 2-3 modifications, not much, and I'm already ready to design closet. So if I go in the assembly manager, I selected in the drop-down list of assembly construction the one called hexagon closet. So that one is provided with the closet module. And you'll see that it's already labeled as using the style closet 32 mil. So this is an additional style that will be added to the assembly list. And now you can, after that, go and create an entire new construction just for this closet construction here. So one additional question you'll find is the hanging section. So you can define the way you want your bracket to be mounted on your panel. So you can use, for example, the existing holes, or you can just switch to only border required hole. So if you want it to be fully modular, you'll likely use option 2 or 3. So 2 is to offset it to an additional to create an additional drilling just for the closet rod, whereas the first one will snap to the existing one you use already in the assembly here. And after that, you have question about the distance from the top, also the clearance if you want to make the rod shorter than the actual opening as well. So this is only for closet construction. The other one specific to the closet is on the shoe shelf. So you can also create a shelf that will actually be tilted down or angled, and you can select if you want this shelf to be adjustable or fixed as well. So most people will use the existing adjustable shelf holes, add a shelf pin, and then also notch this shelf to make sure that it doesn't fall down. And you have options if you want this to be angled by 1 or 2 holes as well. And the last thing is you can also select if you want to notch the front, the back, or both, or if you don't want to notch it as well. Always recommended to notch it so it doesn't slip down. So usually I like to do back or front, one or the other, and then you can define the size of your actual notch. So you can define the length and the width and the depth as well too. And then you just need to use metal shelf pin, and they will automatically have the shelf sitting inside the notch and not falling down here. If you want, you can also have a shelf lip. You can of course define the setback, and for the shelf lip you can define the width as well too, if you want it. If you want, there's even an option to add a heel stop. So the heel stop could be defined with a custom set of properties as well here. So this is in the assembly construction, and the other questions are still available. So the one that you will find with the default cabinet construction. And after that, you save this, and then you can use it in a project. So because we have a very specific type of construction for closet, what will happen also is when you will now create a new project with the closet add-on, you will see that in your job property window, you have a new category for closet. So you can define properties just for the closet that you're going to create for this project. So that's where you can select the construction, the drawer system, the materials, the hardware, and doors and layout as well. So when you go to hardware, you will see that there's additional type of hardware available just because we design closet, and we'll get back to them as we go through this webinar. But just to quickly look at them, we have the wire basket, you have the closet rod as well. So those are specific to closets. So now also when you have the closet module, so we said you have dedicated construction, you will have dedicated hardware. You will also receive new catalogs. So you will have some catalogs for closets that will also be available when you have the closet module. And those catalogs will include anything you need to build a closet or design a closet. So you'll find like parts like panels, shelf, tops, bottom, hanging section, drawer system as well. You will have also decorative parts, like for example, if you want shoes, clothes, wire basket, this is also part of this catalog. So in Cabvision, what it will look like. So if I go ahead and click OK to start my project, let's draw just a wall. And now go in my object. So now I will have access to some closet catalogs. So the one I like is the hexagon closet catalog. So as I said, it's already all well organized, and this is really like the catalog I get as soon as I install this add-on. You'll have all type of panels like vertical, suspended as well. So if we were to just quickly review those panels, so the floor mounted is the one that goes all the way to the floor. You have the suspended one. It's similar to the one we saw earlier on the picture where it doesn't touch the floor. And you have a suspended one that's more like kind of like almost an upper section of the closet that's still suspended, but much higher than the tall suspended. And you also have the option to use a suspended one, but with a radius as well. And the radius, if we were to look at just this one in 3D, you have a corner radius at the bottom as well. And this radius could be customized directly on the assembly properties on the left side. So you have bottom radius, right now it's 2 inches. But if I make it 4 inches, I can customize the radius as well too. So it's already configured in the closet assembly as well. So those are for the panels. And then you have a lot of different units. So you have hanging unit, shelving unit, drawer unit, basket unit, and corner unit. So we'll use them later when we'll do a live demonstration, but just to use one quickly to show you what happens. So right now I just have my panels. Cabvision is always waiting to create the machining for the hanging rail, but it doesn't know yet on what side to do it. So by default, it will always appear on the left. But if I just go ahead and drag and drop a hanging section, automatically my hanging notch will be inside, and also all my machining will be applied. And that's very important to note that when you have a closet, if you don't have any thing between the panels, nothing will happen because there's no need to create a machining. But if you drag and drop now an assembly with some section, now the machining will actually be created because the machining comes from the actual section and the opening here. So now if I need for a fixed shelf, it means I need to have machining to install this fixed shelf. And then we can even go just look at the fixed shelf. So this one has, right now I have additional drilling just for my rod. I have a drilling for my shelf and cam locks. And what I like with this one, if I go on the side, everything is following a 32 mil system. So virtually everything will always fall in a hole and then have all the parts to be assembled together. So I don't have to worry about like how to drill it. I just drill everything and then I can assemble it and just look at the drawing and decide I have to put my shelf a specific height from the floor and just find the hole that's the closest to this opening, for example. Same for the rod will always be able to be moved up and down as well. So that's what the closet would look like. And of course, if we just go and get a suspended one, like fully suspended, this one, so it's the same idea, but this one will just stop where it needs to be, and the hole will still follow the 32 mil, and they will still properly line up. And this is because the closet, it's built to always snap following the 32 mil system. So we have a parameter to say, do you want to follow the 32 mil system, yes or no? And by default, it's yes. So it simplifies everything when you drag and drop parts to build your layout. So that's what the catalog will help you to do. And other thing you'll find in the catalog that's more like decorative objects. So you have shoes, like different type of shoes, different colors of shoes. You'll have also clothes, folded clothes, towels, caps, but also like clothes already in a hanger. Same with coats. And if you want a set of hangers, you can also drag and drop them just to improve your drawing. And I'll show you later a demonstration of all that too. So this is part of the catalog that's available with the closet add-on. So other thing beside the catalog is hardware. So what hardware will you be able to use with the closet? So the very first one is the hanging bracket. So the hanging bracket is what will be used to install the panel and have it installed on the wall using the hanging rail. So this hanging bracket, it's something that you can customize in the assembly manager. So if I just close this and I will go in my material manager, I go material, and I'll just type bracket. And I will have some hanging brackets. Those again are added with the closet add-on. So you just open the bracket, and if we go in the model editor, just to have a quick look, this is the 3D model of the bracket. So we already uploaded a 3D model for you, but of course you can replace it if you have a different model that you want to use instead. And it's also something you can customize. So when you edit one of the brackets available, you click on the parameter button in the material property window. And now you can kind of customize like the different machining required, like the length, the width of the notch, the diameter, the diameter of the holes, the depth of the hole, the spacing between the holes. So this is all inside the parameters of the bracket. So advice is just to copy it, create your own version of it, depending on where you get your hanging bracket. And then you can then apply it to a specific schedule, because this is after that called in a material schedule. So if I go under my material schedule, I will have now a new branch for closet, and I can select for this schedule what type of bracket I want to use. So that's where you can select the model of bracket that you want to use. Also, we can add also a cover. The cover is mostly for a bill of material. So if you need to also purchase covers, so you will at least list them on your bill of material too. So this is for the hanging bracket. The next hardware we will find in the package is, of course, the rods, so the closet rods. So most of the time we have two different style of rods. We have like just the round rod or the oval one, and both are available. Again, they will be found in the material manager. In the material manager, you should see a group called rod when you have the closet module. And sometimes you only have one. I created an additional one, but you can create as many rod as you want. So there's a type of material called rod, and I'll just call it my rod and click next. And I will see that there's several options if I want it to be round or oval. If I select oval, then I can select the height, the width, the length of the rod I'm going to purchase, and also more the boring I want to apply. So the diameter, maybe let's go in inches, the depth, and the spacing. And even in the drilling pattern, you can select through many different options, horizontal, vertical, 3 holes, 4 holes, for example. So this is all available, or if it's just a round one with 1 hole, you can do that too. So you have all those options available. So I'll just select 2 and finish. And now I have this rod. This is an oval rod with 2 holes. So this is how you customize the rod. The rod is after that applied to a specific schedule. So there's a rod schedule that's available now. So if I go in my material schedules, my assembly schedule, sorry, I can see I have a drop-down list for closet rod. And now I can create all my different option of rod. If I want an oval rod, round rod, oval stainless steel, oval chrome, and or white, so I can create different options for the designer to pick from. So I can add a new one and they will be added to the list. So I'll call it, for example, my closet rod. And if I just search for rod, I call it my rod, and I'll just drag and drop it right here. So I just use my rod for this one. And what is going to happen is if I start a new project, now the designer will have the option on the closet and the hardware to pick the closet rod schedule, and my rod will appear here. So now this is a new entry to pick a rod here. So that's for the closet rod using the closet add-on. Next thing is the wire basket. So this is also an hardware available with the closet add-on. So when you install the add-on, you'll have already like many wire basket available in the material manager. So those will be under the group called wire basket, and they will all be listed in this group. But of course, you're free to create your very own one. So you just click new to create a new material. You select the type wire basket, and then you answer all the questions to define a new basket that's being used. So very important to properly define the width, the height, and of course the depth. And then you can also create the drilling pattern, similar to how you customize a draw guide. So let's say, for example, here 224, for example, and I click next. I can select the color in the display properties, click finish, and now my wire basket is created. And if I look at it in the model editor, this is my new wire basket. So here I just put like a side mount on the bottom, but of course you can offset if you want it more top as well. So there's already many different one available. And similar to the way the closet rod are managed, they are also part of a schedule. So if I go in my schedule and I go, and the wire basket is a new schedule type you will find. So you'll see that right now you already have some from Philly, white, nickel, chrome, or black. And for each of them, you'll see that they already are mapped to different height, widths, and depth for wire baskets here. Okay, so this is the wire basket hardware in the closet package. Other very important thing is the connectors. So the connectors is what you will use to connect your fixed shaft, top, bottom to your panels. As I said, we typically use like a housing system. So this is also part of the package. So it's already this specific one that we see is part of the package. So it will be called in your material manager Rafix. So just type Rafix, RAFIX. And you'll find likely at least one, but probably three. So there's just the Rafix, the single one, or the Rafix 32 is the one with an extra hole. So the closet Rafix will be just one hole And also if we open, you have a cam hole and you have also a bolt hole as well. And this one has an option through hole. This one, just leave it as it is. We kind of created a logic that if you have two holes that's actually in front of each other, it will automatically drill a through hole for you. So it's kind of nice to try to minimize flipping part over. So that's why you have cam hole and through hole right here. So this is the refix. And of course, the other one is an extra hole. I think it's a 10 mil hole. I thought let's go. Yeah, it's a 10 mil diameter hole. And this is now this other one that, so those are the two mostly used hardware connector for closet parts. So this is again available in the package. And then this is something that you can use in your construction the same way you'll use a connector to assemble parts. But it's already set for you, so you'll already have the right diameter, the right depth. But if not, you can just edit the hardware in the material manager. So those are the hardware that we'll use. So before we continue, I want to go back to the chat and just quickly check if we have any questions pending.
We have a few questions, Christopher. Thank you. I'll start from the earliest questions and work my way up. So the first question was, can you integrate tag shoe fences?
Yes, so if it's a tag, this is a little bit different. On top of the hardware package that you'll find in the closet, and the closet add-on is still required, you can go on the tag website, and I think it's directly on their website. They created a Cablevision catalog for our closet package. And basically, it will include also their entire library of hardware. It's a very well-made package. You find 100 and 100 of different hardware available in the package.
Beautiful, thank you.
And it's free. It's free of charge. Yeah.
Perfect. Lucas gave us a Nexus link as well. So
Awesome.
When I send everyone the recording, I'll make sure to include those links so that we have both options. Thank you. Next question is, why is there no exposed interior in the materials tab like they have in the main room setup?
Good question. I think the thought process is closet is fairly open. So by default, we'll treat everything as finished. And also a lot of time, those are closets using texture melamine as well. But if you would have to do your own finishing, just make sure that this is done on the material itself. So on the material, you can select a different color or texture between the face and the back. So just create different set of materials. But by default for a closet, it will assume that everything is finished. And it's also because when you deal with those panels, you will assume that if it's a truly modular closet, you don't really have to worry about, is this panel going on the left or on the right? It's the same panel. You just put it where it fits and then use the connector to assemble it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. A couple more questions, if you don't mind. We have a question about what about floor-based separate toe constructions?
Oh, good question. By default, I don't think it's set up this way, but you could definitely copy the existing construction and just use in the toe setting to create detached toes. But ours right now are attached, but you could create one. So what I would say, even if you want to make it even easier, use the suspended one that's actually stop to clear the toe kick, and just create after that just a toe base assembly that you can stretch to wherever you want. Because sometimes those ladder kick are more like custom, so you could just slip them under the panels and it will be super easy.
Beautiful, thank you. I have another one. We buy closet rods in 12-inch lengths. what is the best way to calculate lengths needed? Almost like they need to be optimized.
In this case, I feel like you will still have to create those in the material manager when you're on the rod. So just make sure that on the closet rod, you properly defined the length of what you purchase. And then that will be to, in the report editor, you might have just to create a custom report just to count the different lengths and list the lengths. I think the material summary might give it to you. I'm not sure if it will give you the length. So maybe you just have to edit it to show the quantity and the length. So it will tell you need 3 rod of 12-inch or 5 rod of 15-inch. If it has to be pre-cut and it's always 12, again, it's in the custom report. You can create a actual calculation to say if I have a 96-inch, calculate how many of 12-inch I need, for example. So that's the short answer. It really has to be a custom report.
Perfect. Thank you. Our last question before I'll let you move on, Christopher, is there a document outlining the functions of the closets package? We have it, but don't know what features exist. So if we don't have that,
so this session today will be recorded, so it will be a good way to go through all the thing included and the features of the package. The other thing, and we can double check, I know on Nexus there is a document. We can find you the link, but I recall there is a document outlining all the components of the package and how to use them too.
Perfect, thank you. I'll make sure to follow up on that. Appreciate it. So that's all of the questions for now. Please continue, Christopher. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll go ahead and create a new project, and I'll just show you the workflow of creating a closet layout from start to finish. So let's start a new job. So when I start this new job, I will, as always, check my different job properties. So the very first one is under the room property. I can already double check the wall height. So right now I'll use a 96-inch walls, and the soffit height, which will be the distance between the ceiling and the top of my panel. So I will leave 12-inch between the ceiling and the panels. So that's assuming that my panels will be 84-inch from the floor. So now, then I'll switch to closet, the closet group, and I will use the closet construction that I have already in my system. This one is the one that's come from the package, and I just made 2-3 modifications. So it's 90% what the original is. I just tweak it a little bit. I think I just changed a little bit of thing for the closet rod and the shoe shelf just to create my own machining for my notch. That's really the only difference. I'll use an on-demand system. I will use Maple for my material. And for my hardware, I'll use, of course, on-demand draw guides. I'll use the wire basket from the package, the Philly wire basket, and I'll use an oval closet rod. I'm not planning to use doors, but I will, because I'll have drawer front, so I'll use a slab maple drawer front. And my layout tab is just to make sure that my vertical panel, the panel will be 84-inch, the depth will be 18. And those is just specific to the closet part. So you can redefine everything just for closet. So that's why you see that my default depth is 18 versus, for example, for my kitchen or bath, I might use 24, for example, here. So that's really what I need to worry about for the closet. I can click OK and now start my walls. So let's create the wall layout first. So I click on my wall tool and I'll create a U-shaped closet. So let's draw a 24-inch wall, 80, 80 again, 80, and maybe an opening right here. So, and then I want to have all 3 walls with closets. So because of that, I will start creating a corner unit on each corner. So I'll go in my object, and then I will use everything will be done using the hexagon closet catalog. So in the hexagon, I'll first create a corner unit, and I'll use the 90 corner unit with the radius. And radius means that when I drag and drop this unit, you'll see that the shelf are all done with a radius. And that's kind of to make it easier to apply edge band. I will first cut them on a CNC and then edge band them. Nice thing just to know is when you select the corner unit, you can again customize the radius easily. So instead, of course, you could right click, go edit the shape, but we simplified it where you can just click and select the radius directly on the assembly properties. So this one, I will double click on it just to customize it. And this one will just be a shelving unit. So in my section editor right now, I just have a fixed shelf. So I'll just add a upper shelf. So free opening, same thing at the bottom. And this is all made of shelf. So right now, this is made of shelf. I don't have the panels yet. So the panel, I will add them right after, but I will copy, right click and copy this unit. So I have both corners. And now I will go back to my catalogs and I will start adding my panels. So I'll go in again in the hexagon closet catalog. So now I use the closet panels group, and I'll use the vertical floor mount panel, which means that this one will touch the floor. So I just drag and drop it. And what I do is I just simply put my panel next to my corner unit, and I'll do it as many times as needed. So I'll just put a couple of them, and I'll just then properly lay them out exactly where I need them. I just need now to make sure the clearance on the right is 0. So it touches the corner. Clearance is 0. Same thing here. I will set the clearance to 0. As I'm doing this, is what's happening is this panel, because it's touching the corner unit, it will receive the machining from the corner unit automatically. But if I look at those other panels, they're not touching anything. As I explained, they just panels. No machining is going to be created just yet. So now this one, I'll leave, for example, maybe 3/4, where I can later on add a filler. Same thing here. Let's go 3/4. And between those two panels, like I have 26 and 8 and 20 and 7, 8. So let's say, for example, on the left, I want to have 24. So that will leave me with 23 on this end. And I will do the same thing on the other side, 24 as well. So this is just a sketch of my opening. Now what I will do, and I will do, for example, a hanging, and maybe I'll just write it down here, text, and just go here and say here will be a hanging, just so we know what we want. Same thing, hanging. And here we'll put, for example, something for the shoes. And here will be baskets. So I just keep track of what I want to do. So that will be hanging, and that will be hanging, double hanging, and single hanging. So let's do the double one on the left. So in my catalog, I'll go in my hanging unit. Because I use floor mounted panel, I will use the floor mount to group, and I want to have a double hang floor mount. And I simply drag it. It doesn't matter if it's smaller or bigger, it will always automatically fill the actual opening available. And if I go on my wall elevation, so this will be a double hanging, so that's why I have a fixed shelf. And if I go in disassembly, you see that the hanging rod, the closet rod, is right here. So this is the first hanging section. The other one, I'll do a full height hanging section. So if I go, and actually I'll do it from the elevation view, just so you can also install things from the elevation. So I'll do a long hang floor mount assembly, and this means that the hanging rail will be here. And I think it's in my layer. I'm hiding the closet rod. Just want to quickly check if I can edit rods. So just be able to see that we have our closet rod. And also when I open the drawing from my client, the client will actually see where the rods are. So this is my long hang section. And I say I want a shoe shelf on the left. So in object, this time I go back to, I don't have like a shoe shelf units yet. So I'll use a shelving unit, a floor mount. I'll use open. I'll use the split floor open. Split floor open means it's just an opening with just a fixed shelf in the middle. So I'll reuse that. And what I will do, I will go in elevation and I will just want bottom unit to be shoe shelf and upper unit to be just regular shelf, adjustable shelf. So in my section editor, I'll section first the bottom, and I'll add for shelf, for opening, sorry, for free shelf. And now I will select each shelf, and on the type, I have a type called shoe shelf. So I can select this shoe shelf type, and you'll see that when I activate it on one of the adjustable shelf, they will now switch to a shoe shelf, and the notch will also be applied as well. And I can do the same thing for the other two ones I have, and shoe shelf here. And on top, I will add just regular adjustable shelf. So now I have adjustable shelf and shoe shelf at the bottom. The other side, I will want to include a wire basket on my third wall. So right now we want to fill this opening here. So I will go in my object. I can actually use the same split floor mount unit. And what I want is the bottom section will be a couple of wire baskets, and on top will be adjustable shelf. So let's do first those wire baskets. So I'll split this in 4, for example, because I want 3 wire baskets. And I want the very first one to switch the type. So this time in the type, I select wire basket. And when you select wire basket, you will see that the wire basket will now be visible on the drawing, but also you can manually change the depth and the height. And this will be based on the schedule you use. So in this schedule, I have 3 available height. So the very first one is 6, and 6 is good. That's what I want first. So I want to, maybe here is a lot of space. I want to leave 2 inch, and I'll lock this height. Then I will add another wire basket. And this one, oops, let's move it down a little bit. I will make it with a 2 inch height and lock it. And the last one might be, hopefully I have enough space for, if I just go here, 2 inch, lock the height, select the wire basket and see if I can fit 11. And I think I might be lucky to fit a 17. Perfect. Here you go. So I have my 3 wire baskets, and on top I will add, let's say, just adjustable shelf. There you go. Here. So now I have my wire basket. Same the wire basket. I don't think they're visible in the. It's in the layer. We probably not checked, but we can show them if we want. So now I have all my opening, and what I need here, I'll put maybe some drawers and shelf. I will use a drawer unit. So in my object, I go in drawer unit. This is a tall drawer unit, and we use a tall drawer floor mount unit. It's kind of half drawer, half shelf. And I simply click once. And now if I look at my elevation, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drawers and 2 shelves. So this is now all done. I will just clear my CAD because it's a little bit messy. So let's go select all and delete all the existing CAD. And now this is done. After that, it's up to you to add some decorative object if you want. For example, just quickly, if you wanted to go in the face view, I like to do it directly in an opening. So I select the opening, I go in the face or plan view, and I go to insert an object. And now I go in my catalog and I go on the decorative, and now I can pick and choose what I want. So let's say I want a folded, let's say 2 sweaters. So I just drag and drop, pick my sweaters right in the middle, somewhere here as an example, but of course you can move them around if you want to. You can say, you know what, I can copy, if you have enough space, those sweaters. And when you do it, I go in the end view and just, because right now, kind of like more at the back, and you can drag and drop them a little bit forward. And same thing here. There you go. So just to show you, of course, it's really up to what you want and how much detail you want to add. But some, again, you can add same thing in the end view. You can also do object. This time we go hanging clothes and drag and drop those clothes. So for the clothes, it's a little bit harder to figure out where's the actual hanger. So it's a little bit off. Kind of here. And in the face view, just offset it slightly. There you go. And also it will help when I create my drawings, so I have kind of a better idea to explain to my client what each opening does here. And this is all done using what you have in the catalog. So 2 last thing, I want to quickly generate for you some drawings, and maybe after that, 1 rendering. So the drawings, let's do the rendering before the drawing. So I go in 3D, and in 3D, I'll see that I have my entire layout. But if I want to improve it, I will likely want to go in my plan view, add a floor, and maybe also in plan view, add a ceiling. And I just use the auto build tool. So I'm automatically building the ceiling. And then what I do is I go back to 3D. For the floor, I go in the texture and I'll just add the texture for my floor. Let's go on the floor. Let's use a natural oak or just Douglas, for example. So here we go. And maybe the camera is too far back. So I'll use the camera editor. And what I'll do, I'll just drag and drop my camera much more in the middle. And even here, I'll use the lens angle. I'll go all the way to 70-degree angle. And what I will do is it will have a much wider field of view where I can see much more in my 3D here. And also, well, actually, it's quite good. So I can leave it as is. So just to show you like kind of what my closet will look like. And here I will simply click on the enhance button. So right here. And that's just to make the line a little bit more straight and smooth. So it will take a few seconds to actually clean up. And you'll see that everything will look much nicer and sharper. So it's just updating it, and then I will save this drawing that I can, here we go, it's done, and I can right click and save to drawing. And now I can actually create my shop drawing. So I go in the drawing tab. So I already have the 3D, so I'll just simply drag and drop the 3D. That will be kind of like a cover page. And let's make it wider in one click. That's my cover page. And because I use 2024, I will create automatic plan and elevation. So I go in the report tab, and now we have the new plan and elevation sheet button. So in one click, I said I want to create plan, I want to create elevation, and I want to select all the walls, and I want to send them to my drawings. Select the paper type, click OK. And now it's actually generating. It will take 2 seconds. I think it's done. So we can go back to the drawing tab. And in the drawing tab, now if I go to the next sheet, now this is my automatic plan and automatic elevation. Of course, you can customize the actual template. This one is just the default one, but you can see in one click, I created those plan elevation, and my cover page is still there. So right now, my package is made of 5 different pages, sorry, here. It's all done. So we have our entire project for the closet all done using the closet module. And I'll just save it. Here we go. And of course, the very last step you have to do is just to send to machining, which we don't need to do today. We don't have a CNC machine, but you will open the S2M Center and generate your G code for your entire closet project here. So you have everything done in Camvision using the closet module. So that's what I wanted to show you. So we'll go back to the chat if there's any questions regarding the closet module.
There are. Thank you so much, Christopher. So these questions might take us a little bit past the hour. So I just want to comfort everyone. If you do have a hard stop and you need to leave, I will include all of these questions and answers in the recording, which I will share with everyone tomorrow. So I'll go back to the questions, Christopher. Can you have a room that combines closet construction cabinets and regular construction, or do the two not mix at all? For example, will an adjustable shelf not fire holes into a cabinet of non-closet construction type?
So very good question. You can have different assembly from different construction in the same room. The limitation is if a closet assembly touch a regular cabinet assembly, it's not going to create an operation because this is not a connection where it's meeting another closet assembly. But you can perfectly create some cabinets using the typical kitchen or bath catalog and other coming from the closet catalog, and you will automatically know that those are cabinets for kitchen. So you will use the cabinet construction from the kitchen. And if you take it from the closet catalog, you will know that you use the setting from the closet catalog. But they will not like create the hole between the closet part and the kitchen part. There's a trick to do it, but it's a little bit more advanced. But by default, it's not going to do it.
Perfect. Thank you. Next question. Can you have drawer depths automatically respond to the presence of a baseboard?
Good question. I don't think so, because the baseboard is not going to create an actual limitation at the back. So it's going to be manual. You'll have to click on your drawer box and now change the depth if your baseboard is in the way. That's a good question. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Our next question is, what is the best and fastest way to customize the thickness of each panel? Let's say I want the side panels, top panels, and bottom panels made of 3/4 thickness, but all fixed and adjustable shelves are made of 1-inch thickness panels.
It will be in the materials schedule. So in the material schedule, if I reopen my job properties, you just have to create a schedule that's actually calling the right material thickness. So on this one, everything is made of 3/4 material, But if I look at this one called Maple, if I just click modify to open my actual schedule under closet, and the nice thing is it will only apply it for closet. So if you want to only do it for closet, you can say that for closet, all my vertical panel, I want to use 3/4, but all my horizontal, I can use 1 inch, for example. So you can actually already tell Cabvision, use 3/4 for the panel, use 1 inch for the shelf. So everything is here a different part type. So just select the one that you want to apply for each part type. Each material will have its own part type.
Okay, thank you so much. This question here, Braden is saying, I've had issues where the vertical panel assembly is 3/4 inch, but the material in the schedule was 18 millimeters. The Rayfix IntelliJoints didn't trigger the slave bolt hole correctly in the material. Can you recommend best practice?
Yes. So as a best practice, especially if your material tend to vary a lot, this one is assuming that you have something very close to 3/4. But if there's a whole like mil or 16 of an inch difference, you could make the thickness to be actually parametric. And in this case, and I will check, and I believe in the actual new closet catalog that we sharing, if I check just the parameters of the diesel, I believe this one is already set to check the material thickness. So let's see. Here we go, here. Yeah, so this one would, this is the 3/4, 3/4. Let's see if I can find it. Here you go. Yeah, so this one is actually tracking the thickness of your material. So I'm not sure if you have the newest version of the package or not. If not, maybe we can help you to update it, because this one is the one that was updated in Cabvision 2023.3. So it's a very recent update of the closet package. And this one is actually, as you can see, tracking the thickness of your panels, which is very good because you will actually avoid having the mistake you have. And also you will be more accurate on the drawing, because if I switch to millimeters, I can also after that know that if it's 5/8 or 3/4 as well too here.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Another question about reports, Christopher. Is it possible to create a report for the closet system, looking for a details list of everything needed for the closet?
Yeah, absolutely. Just reach out to our tech support team. We can create one if you want to list on a report all the parts or hardware needed for your closet. We can do that. And that's because each component is actually part of a group for closet, so we can generate a report just for closet parts. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. It's possible that some of these questions may require some follow-up after the fact. So again, we will make sure that either Christopher or your salesperson reaches out to you to follow up on these. I have a question here about rendering, Christopher. This may be something we follow up on afterwards, but the question is, any tips on how to improve the rendering, especially for small closets? I tried rendering before and the lighting seems a little bit too bright, too much contrast.
Okay. Yeah, this is a broad question because I don't think it's only for closet, but very quick tip. First, for the different material you use, it could be for the wall, for the floor, for the ceiling. You want to check the type of object, the render type. So what I mean is I'll just close this project, go in material. If it's very bright, sometime if we go in miscellaneous and have a floor material, you want to make sure that under finish type, you don't use a gloss finish. And because if the material is set to use a gloss finish on a wall, on a floor, it's going to bring much, much more light. So it is not what you want. So just make sure that each of your material are properly defined with the right finish type. After that, the second thing is you can manually go and check the light brightness in the overall project. So if I reopen the project I had before, it's in the 3D view. So in 3D, you can go directly to light, and actual light called the sunlight, you can actually control its brightness. So if everything is too bright, you can just make this more or less bright, depending on what you need here. We might have in the future session dedicated to rendering, so that's something we'll make sure to address and discuss in a separate session.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think Lucas has been helping out with some troubleshooting in the chat, so we'll follow up on that after the fact. And then I think Peter has an excellent question to end the session. He just wants to know, what's your favorite Tafisa color?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's very specific, and I think you might attended some of my seminar, because it's usually I'm always going with the visa, so probably like 514, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's perfect. That's all the questions that we have in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone.